Hey guys, I'm gonna be talking about the '91 Honda Civic. Super cool car, to me, anyways. Super easy maintenance, very fast repairs. I mean, there's very just huge. The upkeep is minimal. Um, the other weird price is this car is 20 years old this year. Obviously, 91, 2021. Actually, it's 30 years old. It still has a price between, I wouldn't, I didn't think it would still be that high. Obviously, 257, duh. I mean, if it don't work, it don't work. You know, you're going in with a lot more money than you're getting out of it. Other ones that are still on the road today can still sell for 1800, 1900, however you want to flip that. Um, the one car that I had the privilege of having is the DX series. It's not as nice. I mean, it's gray. I guess it'd be more for this one, but to kind of put it in perspective, it has a dent over here on the front fender, a couple of scratches, dings, and then there's also a big hit back here. Not like car hit, like somebody butt sat onto it and then boom, popped it in. Um, Also crazy enough is it has a lot of room. It fits 16-inch rims. All four fit in the trunk of this car. I had a Subaru 91 back when I was in my early 20s, late teens. I couldn't fit three wheels in there. It was like two and a half. And I had to like nestle it in and like slam it. This one, surprisingly, fit all four of the rims in there without tires though. So maybe just three, but substantially more trunk space. Gas mileage for these things is roughly about 30, I'm going to say. Let's see here. Oh, 24, standard. That's for manual. I think automotive, though, or for automatic, it's higher. Interesting. Here we go, 26 and then 29 for manual. Obviously, there was two different makes. There's a 1.5 that I was dealing with, and there's a 1.6. Then also just from that standpoint is the only downside to these cars though is parts are running out. There's a lot of stuff you have to finagle, a lot of stuff you have to um, work around, update, splice wires, repairs. With age comes cost. There's nothing that gets older that gets cheaper. I don't know if anybody else ever heard that. When you buy an older car, it's pay to play. I always tell that to the people that I handle their cars, whether it be detailing and whether it be repairs. Um, Substantially, if you want to play older, you have to pay. Um, as I kind of put in perspective, it's like, is it cheaper to take a kid to the hospital, or is it more expensive to take a older person to the hospital for basic needs? And because otherwise people throw in like, well, what if the kid has cancer, blah blah blah. Always something added to it. I'm like, no, I'm saying you go in there for the yearly checkup. Are you more likely or least likely to have a bigger bill as a old person or as a young person? That's just pretty much where it sits. So you got a 30-year-old car with, they don't even make this body style anymore. You go, what is it, 96, I think, is like a huge difference on the Honda Civic. Right there, boom. I mean, it's, apples and oranges. Tires might be the same size, but as far as the structure, it's over. But what I like about this older car is the simplicity. It doesn't have an OBD2 scanner. It has a light up panel. So check engine light. So where it is, it's on the passenger floor. See, like it'll do check engine light, but maybe on the floor blinker. Floor blinker. Guess I'll have to post it and put it on here. But what it does is it actually does Morse code. So oxygen sensor, self dynamic. So the car will literally blink at you to let you know what's happening for you to fix it. Super crazy. I love that more than the OBD2 sensor, to be personally honest. Um, I don't have to plug in. I don't have to like figure out what code that is. I don't have to figure out like is there a subcode? No. You go straight to the number, straight to the problem. Boom. Get it in, get it done, get it going. It was so awesome. So, with that being said, it's just a super simplicity on this car. Oh, see, that's where it is. So that's on the floorboard. It's an LED light. LEDs were made way back when. Yeah, back in 1962, but it didn't really kick off back then. But obviously, the 90s took off, and that's when boom. It literally looks like it's a box, and it's the ECUs right there, right in that bank, and that's how you see the problem. So it'll go one, two, three, and if there's multiple problems, it'll go one, one, two, Morse code. Um, Freaking crazy. I love it and I enjoy it. So there's that, and then um, yeah, I mean you can rip the engine apart. I did it. I mean I ripped the engine apart. I didn't have to lift the car. Um, the weird part that kind of sucked, which is something that if you don't have a jack at home, this is very important, is when you're replacing the timing belt, the water pump, all that timing belt's attached to. You have to dismount the engine. American cars, it was the driver's side. I had to lift it, and then I had to slip in the belt, like trying to finagle it between the subframe and the engine cradle to get it in, to get it on. And I had to do it with clean gloves because, if you didn't know this, don't allow any contaminants to get to your belt, because what it can do is it can uh, damage the integrity of the belt, one. Two, chemicals attached to a rubber can make it either more elastic, um, or it can just start just fraying, and from there you could have a middle of the highway, or you're going 60 down the road and that belt snaps. It's a wrap. That could be your valve stems, that could be your pistons, that could be just everything, engine gone. So I was very, very conscientious of that. Um, what else happened during that lineup? It was super weird. And the other part was, it was another just very shocking, just, it was so easy. It was just like nothing's in the way. The wires were in the open, not like all over the place, but like there's you know, all the wiring connections and all this, just right there behind the engine or behind the intake, out of the way, going across the back. I mean, it was so clean. It was so pleasant. It's like on the newer vehicles, it was not. It is not that nice, and it is not that clean. Sure, it's clean, meaning it's all newer, or whatever. It's designed that way. But to access wires on the newer cars, it is a freaking nightmare. I hate it, to the point of I have to. I mean, you have to take classes to do some of these connectors, and then you have to even see how they disconnect. Some of the connectors you have to use like a specialized pin disconnect. You have to use picks, which are like L shape or even like straight edge, like needles, to like take out like a lock mechanism, push it down, unhook it. It was wild sauce. But on these, super easy. no problem, blah, blah, blah. We can get it on. Um, but the cool part about it is that, I told the customers that if it goes south and you need a new engine, super easy, like, and super inexpensive. So, we did light repairs, about 250, about 250. And I said, if you need another repair and it's going to go to another $700, just get a new engine, engine swap. And you want to get out of the what's it called, the DFI, which is like the dual fuel injection, and it goes to a multiple fuel injection, which is the newer engines. Yeah, here we go, racing. So very easy, kind of looked it up. Obviously this is just a person's just regular driving car. Got him to here. I showed him, like, yeah, there's these cars, the newer the better, because at least you're, keeping up and consistent. But obviously, everyday driver, and you're going to go from 100 horsepower to 200, it gets crazy. And then these types of engines are also, it just gets more expensive. They do newer things, they do better things, and they just like their car because it's so, in a way, homey, just comfortable. Nothing's out of whack. You don't have to expect anything, but it's getting, crazy. So I think it was like, I found an engine for like, it was like $1,200-$1,500. Engine for sale. And obviously you got to make sure that it all connects properly. Yeah, see, $1,000, you get an engine. Go on eBay, see how well they had this. Yeah, and that actually sits. I'm actually willing to. That looks like it just sits the same way in the vehicle. And I mean, you're talking about, yeah, friggin' 150 horsepower. Doesn't have a transmission attached to it. I always tell people it doesn't need, you don't need to. If you would like to, yeah. But all you do is if you buy a brand new clutch plate, get it all new in there, it's not a thing. The problem solved. I don't know. Ships unit, see exclusions, probably going to be Alaska. Let's see if we can get rates here. Or they say, get out of here. Well, looks like they ship to here. Looks like free shipping. That's crazy. So that might just be like I'm not going to say chop shop, but that's the best word I can come up with out of my brain right now. But yeah, there's that. Dipstick. Wow, that's actually pretty clean for $1,000. I actually have a lot of respect for this salesperson. They put all the pictures that need to be super clean, very factory. I don't like the engine sitting on the ground, though. I don't like that, especially when it's like you got that little part down there that's handling all the weight and it's all aluminum. Yeah, I get it, but it's like, I don't like that. I don't like to see my baby hurt. So there's that. From that point, removing these engines is like a 2-hour job. Putting another one back in is another 2 hours. The only problem is that you're having to rewire some things. The injectors need to be cut, all this other stuff. I only looked it up because I wonder how hard it would be to update a car from 30 years ago. This is very A to Z simple, and I mean, you're talking another 70. But it is what it is. I like the older cars myself, because it looks like a, for me, I'm a car person. I don't care how busted it looks. I don't care how it looks. Like, I don't care if it looks like it should be, with the Stone Age, or as what the phrases that are today, okay, boomer, and all this other jazz. I'm like, no, that's still a pretty dope car, in my personal opinion. It does A to Z. It'll get you to work. It'll get you to go to do fun things. Super easy to manage, meaning if your checkbook is not big, it's a good car. As I tell people, when you start souping up a car, if you get a car that's pretty souped up and pretty on its toes, it's pay to play. Like, I don't understand why people buy these expensive cars and they don't have the pocketbook. If you can't, and I tell people this whenever I'm about to work on their vehicles, I'm like, how much you looking to spend with this repair and to keep this going? Like, how much are you willing to put into this car before it's out? You know, and they're like, thing I always get 99% of the time, I love this car. I'll keep it with me till death do us part. Okay, $10,000. I don't have 10,000. I'm gonna fix the engine. Here's the next thing: transmission. Next thing, suspension. Next thing, electrical. Like, older cars are going to have more things you have to do, and it's always weird to explain that with people. But the weird part with the Honda, though, is that this one is like so basic. I've swapped Subaru engines out. The worst engines that I've had to deal with are Fords, Chevys, and all that jazz. But that's a whole nother subject. I personally don't like. Um, if it takes 6 hours to get an engine out, that thing better be ready for like illegal street racing. In those movies, Gone in 60 Seconds, in those movies, Fast and the Furious, any of those types of styles of cars, I get why it takes an engine a long time to get out. No, not with a basic economy car. Like, why do I need 7 different bolts, 7 different wrenches, 20 different sockets? You know, add to a list. This car, what was it? So for this specific vehicle to get like parts off, 8, 10, 12, 14, and a 17. And that is, I could take apart the engine. I mean, that engine will come out with 5 bolts, 3 different extensions, 3/8. Uh, I use ratchet. I use hand ratchet, and then I use electric ratchet, air ratchets, and a half-inch ratchet because taking tires off to get the suspension out. Boom. This, however, was so simple, and I wish I could shake the person's hand that made this car. Actually, who designed the 91 Honda Civic DX. Huh. As a Civic shuttle. So it went from, what's a Civic shuttle? Oh, kind of want one of those. I like the hatchback, or I like the sedan, but man, that, I think I'm a wagon guy. Like, I just don't care about sedans. I don't care about trucks too much. Personally, like, to buy, but man, I love all cars. Like, but the only thing I don't like is the way that some of the applications or people use them for, and how some of the designs could have been changed about. Um, but yeah, it's really like, then I like the hatchbacks. I don't know why. It's either the hatchbacks or I got the wagon. The Beagle. Oh my goodness, that looks legit. The Beagle. I'm gonna have to find one of these. Now I tune that out. But for me personally, I'm going to be sticking over 200 horsepower. I wonder how much that is. 4,000. Okay, that makes sense. I wonder if there's a newer engine. It's front wheel drive, so I could LS swap it for a front wheel. Uh, who knows? It all depends on if I can even find one of these things. But man, that looks dope. And to go from there, uh, very minimal upkeep. I mean, it's the definition of gas, oil, tires. Um, and I just have so much respect for that. Otherwise, I'll be checking out some other cars and kind of reporting about how I like them and how I feel about them. But this is your boy, uh, Twisted. That's what my nickname is because of just how meticulous I am when I go to details and working on cars. Because people say it takes a twisted person to have that much concentration. And especially kind of, I also listen to audiobooks while I'm doing my stuff. And yeah, I'm just twisted. So this is about the Honda Civic DX edition, 1991. Um, there it is, engine swap. And that's how it holds in there. So that it basically just crossed in there. Nothing really changed. It was able to attach to the transmission that's under the coolant hose, which is this where my let's get in here. Let's zoom in on this bad boy. Nope. Looks like I'll just have to take that picture and blow it up. So under these lines is a transmission. You can see where my mouse is here, and then it just breaks apart there. So obviously everything has to be torn apart around it to get in there. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And you could literally just, I mean, it's about 2 hours to drop this stuff. I mean, if you have all the proper tools, lifts, 2 hours. Without, all day, have one beer with you, and then the rest is water, lemonade. I do not condone drinking while working on cars, especially if you are in a professional standpoint. But if you are laying back, sitting on your garage floor, enjoy yourself. These are fun cars. Stay tuned.